Hello, everyone. This is Caitlin Magtoto, Program Officer at Asia Society Philippines, and welcome to another Eyes on Asia, a signature program of Asia Society Philippines, which aims to highlight and promote understanding of an Asian country or region through its policy, culture, and arts. Here, we span discussions and activities to discover what is beyond the surface. Our theme in this iteration is the Southeast Asia Food Crawl. Southeast Asia Food Crawl is a three-part series that highlights the diverse and rich culture of Southeast Asia through food. The program is intended to be a digital food experience of Southeast Asia's different flavors. From our first stop in Thai cuisine with Chef Pia, where we explore the delicious pad Thai, we now go to our second episode and we explore Filipino culture through the Filipino Boodle. Our food and culture guide for tonight, Chef Kenneth Cacho. Please sit back and join the conversation as Asia Society Philippines' very own Executive Director, the beautiful and multi-talented Miss Joya Lampay, helps us deep dive into the Filipino culture of food. Joy, please, over to you.
Hi, Kat. Natawa naman ako. I was I was shocked by your introduction, but thank you. So, hello everyone. As Kit mentioned, I'm Joy Alampay, the Executive Director of Asia Society Philippines, and we welcome you on this second episode. And I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever in the globe you are. We are particularly excited for this episode. For me, in particular, this is very close to my heart because our featured chef is not only my idol. I'm sure many of you are as well. And aside from that, he's a very, very dear and great friend. And alam nyo ba na si Chef Ken started his love affair with food when he was only 8 years old. Imagine that, no? He's really very talented. And he's also a very multi awarded chef with stints in our local food scene, particularly in the Palm Garden, Le Souffle, and of course the Mandarin Oriental. And he also pioneered the artisanal burger joint, the Bite Club, which had um, outlets here in Quezon City as well as in Boracay. And he expanded his being a progressive restaurateur with Los Indios Bravos in Boracay, which has already gone to a different owner now. But Chef Kenneth was very much instrumental in developing that concept. And aside from that, he has also revolutionized the culinary academic scene as director for culinary arts and part owner of ISCAM, or the International School for Culinary Arts and Hotel Management. So, due to his vast knowledge of cooking, business, and training skills, he has received multiple awards very early on in his career, particularly the Chefs on Parade, the Philippine Cup, most recently in 2017 and 2019, and the FHA in Singapore. Currently, Chef Can is Unilever Food Solutions Philippines country executive chef since 2019. So, with that, I would like to request everyone please send in your comments, your questions in our chat box, and Chef Ken will, of course, personally answer them all later. Now, I'd like to bring in Chef Ken Cacho. Hello and welcome, Chef.
Hi, Joy. Hello, everyone watching all over the world. It's such pleasure for me to take part in this wonderful event, Joyce. Thank you for having me. Thank you, really appreciate it.
Yes, as I said, Chef, excited ako and I personally am looking forward to learning with you again today. So let's go right into the topic, which is the Filipino Boodle Fight. Um,
Hmm.
Today's discussion actually is particularly exciting and significant because in Asian society, we not only focus on something uniquely Filipino, but on the food experience that comes with history. So, kwentuhan mo naman kami, Chef. Ano ba itong Boodle Fight?
Okay. It's actually, when you ask me to talk about this topic nga, I like kasi to research on a lot of things, especially food, the culture behind it, etc. So,
Yes.
okay, to start, what's Filipino Boodle? Filipino Boodle actually is in the context of Filipino culture. It's the military practice of eating a
Mm-hmm.
communal meal without any cutlery. You just use your bare hands. Kamayan, we call that one kamayan. And enjoying a sumptuous array of specialties. And definitely set on a banana leaves, no, a table set with banana leaves, and it's all arranged in one line, no. So it's really that, no. But I think more than that, it stemmed from the our culture of eating with our bare hands, kamayan, and also the
Okay.
idea of salo-salo or being together. That's why it's a communal feast, no. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, nowadays it's very popular. It's actually very nice to do if you have gatherings because it's easier
Mm-hmm.
to arrange, plan ahead of time and then just serve on the day that you have an event. So easier.
Right.
Mm, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, nabanggit mo kanina yung military roots nito, no? So,
Mhm.
who actually invented the term and then who really started it? Saan ba talaga nag-umpisa to?
Uh,
Filipino Filipino ba talaga yung roots nito?
Yeah. Okay. This is the history, no. So what I did was I spoke to a couple of active military generals, and this is what they told me. Okay, it started actually in the Philippine Military Academy, and resources say that the word boodle comes from the American slang kitten boodle, kaboodle,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Kaboodle, which means a whole lot of persons or things, no? So I think it came from there because this started
Yeah.
during the American period. Eh. Now, it's a military way of eating using again kamayan and salo-salo. Okay, kamayan again is using bare hands and salo-salo is being together. That culture, as a means to promote camaraderie and brotherhood, when they're eating, while enjoying the experience of, through food. Regardless of
Mm-hmm.
rank and position, they would actually eat all together. In fact, this is the time that everyone is the same in the military. Okay, no rank, no position. So now, it became a fight because ito yung mga sabi ng when I did the research with active
Wow.
military generals, the culture of the fight started with the cadets really, no. So it's a feast that's prepared when you have social gatherings, birthdays
Okay.
especially, and mga anniversaries. Now it only happens
So
in
do
the
they
evening.
so they don't do it regularly. There's a special
No?
occasion where they do it as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, it's only during
Okay.
special occasions. Now, for the cadets, what they do, they would celebrate only in the evening because they're studying in the morning, and then they're only given a small amount of time to have
Mm-hmm.
a celebration. So, what happens is, no, the feast actually would be for a group of 30 to 40 people max,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
food is not enough for the group. When they prepare the food, it's not enough for 30 to 40 people. So you have to fight literally for your share of the food. Otherwise,
Okay,
you're
so
left with
that's the
nothing.
term. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The
why it's a
Boodle
fight.
Fight. Okay.
So what the system in the Philippine Military Academy, that the cadets would actually order the food in the mess hall, no? So they would
Mm-hmm.
order fried rice, omelette, okay, egg, even if it's dinner time or evening, egg. So very very straightforward dishes lang, no? And
Mm-hmm.
the food will be delivered to the barracks around 8:30 to
Okay.
9 o'clock in the evening. Now, the setup, they will set it up from 9 o'clock to 9:30. You have to understand, the military is very strict with the time. So 9 to
Of course,
9:30, they
yes.
set it up. So, diba? And they would actually line the floor, not table nga, floor, with newspaper. And they would
Mm-hmm.
arrange the food, no? So during that time, 9 to 9:30. So a fundamental spread of canned sardines, fried rice, the omelette, bagoong, which is shrimp paste, and fried fish, no? If it were a special event, they would actually add corned beef, and adobo or pancit. We call it pancit or stir fried noodles, no?
Uh,
And what they do, they make it more fun by adding what they call landmines. So in
mm-hmm.
the spread, they would add chili, yung mga siling labuyo, or really hot chili, and they would actually put it all around and
Yes.
cover it up,
Okay.
no? So that adds actually surprise, no, and entertainment. So they laugh about it, no? And
Oo,
the
so
best
bahala na
boodle,
whoever gets it. Sorry
exactly.
na
So
lang. Oo.
the best boodle fights actually happens when the lights are out. So they turn off the light para no one can actually see the landmines, they call it. And also
Okay.
it's medyo like kasi some cadets have dietary restrictions, diba? So
Okay.
so for them to partake, they would close the light para they could eat whatever, no. So
Oo.
yon, and then at 9:30, the cadets would gather around the hallway for the boodle fight, and then the higher ranking officer would shout the command, and the command is like this, parang ready in the left, in the right, commence boodle fight. That's how they do it, no. And
Ah,
the feast would last for about 20 minutes. Okay, the cadets would
mabilis.
actually
It's not
super
long.
fast lang. It's fast
Yeah.
kasi nga by 10 o'clock it's lights out or taps. No, that's the term for final call of the evening. So by 10 they should be done. All they do is wrap up the newspaper and just throw it. No, so that's how they would celebrate. And it's actually um, it spawned a lot of variations in the end. No? Now that's
Correct.
very popular. There are a lot of different dishes na.
Oo.
Diba? So, we still apply that kamayan and salo-salo culture, and it's a backbone
Mhm.
of any boodle fight, no? And banana leaves is very important kasi during the pre-colonial, this is how we really practice how we eat. Eh, di ba? We didn't have
Mm,
any plates. They didn't have
right.
any utensils. Though. So that's how we enjoyed and we practiced fundamentally the communal gathering. You know? So
And
that's a brief that's a brief uh, I would say what parang ano siya the
history
research
background. Yeah.
background history, that I researched from high ranking, well, from the active military generals. So
Right.
yon,
So
interesting.
chef, I can imagine, no, if you're saying 30 to 40 people, then it must be a really long spread. Pero yun nga ang
Yeah,
what's unique about it is the amount of food is really not enough. So
yeah,
you can
exactly.
imagine that when their high ranking officer shouts, "Okay, it's time for the boodle fight," that everybody will just scramble, and that's the
Mm,
fun part of it. But
yeah,
later, I will ask you, because we're in pandemic a situation,
yeah.
what ways we can adjust so that we follow protocols. But we can talk about that later. I just have this last question for this part before you bring us to your garden and show us how it's prepared and what are the variations. So you're saying earlier no particular food item or viand was necessary kahit ano noon. Like may galing sa can,
Yeah,
may noodles, okay.
yeah.
So there's
Uh-uh.
no set um
Well,
food.
the basics of the basic talaga, Joy. Literally, you only have sardines, fried rice, egg.
Yeah,
And again, if normally pagka may, if you have visitors towards the weekend,
right.
they would have, maybe some baon, or they would give out yung mga corned beef, for example, or pancit. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
special event already. But otherwise, it's really just having, a celebration. You don't have to splurge on things. It's just like having everyone really eat together. But that's
Yeah.
the main idea. Basta kanin, ha? You have to have rice, and
The
that's the most
important
important.
thing.
Yeah,
Na,
exactly.
okay. So, chef, why don't we bring them to the
Yeah.
preparation stage? So, Chef Kenneth now will bring us to the very essence of Boodle Fight, from its ingredients, variations, preparations, and ways to serve it. And
Hmm.
before we bring that in, please just write your questions, your comments, or whatever it is that you know about Boodle Fight, because after this demonstration from Chef Ken, we'll be back. He'll be back to answer all your questions. So watch this.
The Philippines, an archipelago made up of a diverse blend of cultural and distinct regional cuisine. The abundance of produce from land and sea is reflected in the amazing spread of dishes available in all the regions and provinces of the land. Food has always been the center of any gathering, or which we Filipinos call salo-salo. Traditionally, food is eaten with bare hands and with no utensils in sight, which is what we call kamayan. Kamayan is a very informal and intimate method of dining. The cultural practice invites diners to partake in a welcoming atmosphere that expresses sharing and togetherness. Food that is available and abundant in the land is what is served. The fresh fish, domesticated livestock, and the wealth of vegetables contribute to the daily diet and are consumed in excess when a communal feast is prepared. Distinct flavors and taste profiles which are relatively present in our cuisine would be sour, sweet, and salty. Preservation techniques through smoking, salting, and drying are still being used up to now. Fish that is stuffed with a mixture of vegetables and smoked, which the Filipinos call tinapa, is a staple in any meal of the day for regions near the coastline and inland river provinces. Meat and chicken, which is either pickled or salted and dried, plays an integral part of the Filipino diet in the old days before colonization, which is still being consumed during special occasions in different parts of the country. The abundance of fertile land contributes to the availability of vegetables the whole year round, which is cooked in a myriad of ways, often pickled and bottled for preservation. The wealth of flavors that were handed down by the Chinese, Spaniards, Americans, and Japanese have truly contributed to the originality and exotic traits of our cuisine.
Okay. Chicken inasal. Inasal meaning to skewer and we grill it later on. Okay, it's a Visayan dish and it's actually marinated overnight. No, I marinated with some coconut vinegar, garlic, ginger, chilies, calamansi, the native limes that we have here, and a bit of soy. Okay. Now you have to marinate this overnight for all of that flavor to go into the chicken. So I've quartered the whole chicken and we skewer it like this, you know, like a long stick. Okay. We'll grill this one slowly for about 45 minutes. I would even cook it to as much as an hour, but very slow over charcoal. Okay. So this is chicken thigh, leg quarter. A boodle table would be having a lot of dishes in there, you know. These are my favorites. I have my chicken inasal or chicken grilled chicken skewers, and I'll be basting this one with a bit of annatto oil. It gives a nice orange color. At the same time, I flavored the oil with a bit of garlic as well when I was cooking it. So you just get some annatto seeds, a bit of garlic, and just vegetable oil, and just heat it up slowly, gently, and then strain it, and then you have this nice, beautiful, nice annatto oil. No? So it's normally used in Visayan cooking in the central Philippines, wherein we cook a lot with this type of spice, no, and it actually leaves a really nice flavor in the end as well. You know, the yellow color just makes it more appetizing. Okay, so if you could see, you know, the grilling technique I'm using here is actually low and slow. Low heat and slow cooking, that's the best. And a bit of smoke just to flavor the meat. You know, you don't want to go too quick. I have the bone in, so you want to cook it as gently as you can. Okay, also, I'll be cooking now my squid. So this squid, I marinated with a bit of soy, a bit of calamansi, native limes. And I stuffed this one with garlic chives. Okay, garlic chives, some onions, and ginger. Okay, and I just marinated for about an hour, and it goes straight to the grill. Again, I'm trying to smoke it as well. Okay. All right. Okay. Grills a bit. Okay. Okay, so my fish is almost done. Okay, so I just want to, keep it warm, and all of that smoke will still penetrate through. The squid will cook for about, I would say, maximum 15 minutes. These are calamari squid, and it's actually really nice because they're soft, they're tender. Okay, so part of our feast today will be cooking also some shrimps, no? And the shrimps basically will just cook with a bit of butter, garlic, and 7-Up. Okay, so that's what we call halabos ng ipon, or it's kind of like a sautéed and steamed shrimp dish, no? Okay, so I have here some butter, and then just put some crushed garlic in there, slow heat. Okay, now at the same time we're also cooking our fish, no? So I have here some Spanish mackerel, okay, that we just season with salt and a bit of chicken powder, and also pepper. So we just grill this one. Now I'm going to cook this one with a lot of garlic. So it's going to be a garlic buttered grilled fish.
tad of olive oil. Just want that smoky aroma in there. Okay. So butter is going to be for the fish, huh? And also I have here some pre-cooked garlic. So garlic I blanched in water several times until it's cooked through, like nice and soft, and then I fried it up. Okay, so that's a lot of garlic. So what I did was just basically kind of like blanch it, so you take off all of that really strong pungent flavor, and at the same time, using a lot will actually just taste nice and sweet later on with the fish, less the strong aftertaste. Okay, so just fry that up. This goes in. So these are brackish water shrimps, no? So we call these ones swahe here in the Philippines. Alright. Chicken powder, more chicken powder. Pepper. And then splash of 7-Up. This will give a bit of sweetness. Like that. Okay. Just cover it up. So cook really fast. Okay. So we get our fish. So I just added a bit of flavor there, the smoky flavor. Okay. Here. I just glazed it, so I'm just basically cooking it with a lot of garlic butter. Now, this is a good way of actually using garlic, at the same time using a lot of it, but less the pungent flavor. Okay. And sometimes the garlic is too strong, but blanching it several times and then frying it gives, then it releases a lot of nice sweet flavor. Okay, once you cook with it. Alright, so I'll just cook it kind of like poaching in butter. Okay. Alright, so I also have here part of our table would be beef steak Tagalog. We call it beef steak Tagalog. So it's actually thinly sliced sirloin and cooked with a lot of onions and a bit of soy, calamansi. So it's kind of like an adobo, but using beef. Okay, so it has a nice sweet and sour taste to it. Okay. Also, we have here a stew made with beef as well, and we call this one caldereta. Okay, caldereta is kind of like a beef stew. Okay, so with a lot of onions, potato, carrots, a bit of chorizo in there, peppers, and cooked with a bit of tomato sauce. Simmered very slowly for several hours until it's nice and soft. No? Okay, so I have now the prawns are almost cooked really fast. So I'm just kind of like stewing it. Right, this is what we call halabos, no? So flash fried and then steamed a little bit. You don't want to overcook this one, huh? Okay. You could use lobster if you wish. You could use anything. This technique actually, I like using this technique of cooking because slowly you just release a lot of that sweet flavor from the seafood without really overcooking it. You can control the heat, moist heat. Also, I pre-cooked some mud crabs. So I just boiled it for a couple of minutes, and I'm just going to put this on top of my shrimps and just let it, allow it to steam just to warm it up. Okay. So in about 2 more minutes, this is cooked. All right. fish, I will just add a little bit of calamansi. Also, a bit of Knorr liquid seasoning. Okay. Just warm it up. Just baste this one. It's already cooked, no? Okay. Crispy pata, tomatoes, green mangoes, fiddlehead ferns, okay, some red eggs, red onions. It's kind of like a salad. Okay, traditionally, a boodle fight, we need banana leaves, okay? So what I did with the banana leaves is that we heated it up. Basically, it was just to sanitize it. This will be the bottom part, okay? So what's nice about this one is that after eating, all you have to do is just roll it up and throw it. Okay, so this is biodegradable, you know. And also, we'd normally eat on banana leaves, and today we're going to use our hands. So the good thing with Boodle Feast, no utensils whatsoever, okay? So it's really just your hands and having a nice time eating. Okay. Traditionally, this is known as kamayan, okay? And we'd start off with a table lined with banana leaves that's been sanitized, and we will add now our rice in the middle. Now there's going to be 6 of us eating today. I'm just basically putting everything in the middle, and we're just going to use our hands later on. Okay, just like that. So steamed rice. So since we're 6, I'll put like 6 parts of rice in there. Okay. So I'll put my fish. So I'll just strategically put the different kinds of meat and seafood all around, okay? Crispy chicharron made of truffle fat. Okay, we call this one chicharron bulaklak, no? Chicken inasal. Okay, goes in. I have here some inihaw na yempo. Okay. So place them in certain spots so everyone can reach for it. So that's a feast, huh? We have some red eggs. To make sure you wash your hands and then just get whatever you like, no? So I have here some crispy pata, and then where's my sauce? Here, ito, sauce. Okay, just dip it in the sauce, and when you eat with your hands, you just cup your fingers like that and then push using your thumb. That's how you eat kamayan. Okay? So I urge you to try it at home. Anything, you put on the table, eat with your family and friends, and enjoy life. Halina, kain na tayo!
There you go. Halina, kain na tayo, Chef Ken. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are sort of preparing their food, if not they're eating already. It was such a beautiful spread that you made out there. Pero may nakalimutan ka ata.
Which one?
Yung, anong tawag mo doon? Yung mga sili na dapat tinago natin. Nandun
Ah,
ba?
landmines. The landmines. Wala.
Landmines.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, that actually was very ano naman. It's like it was a lot though. Ako kasi like when I feast, I want to have a lot. So
Yes.
that's why I prepared it like that. I wish you guys were here to be with us when we were eating it.
Di bale, well, rain check, madali lang yan. Pero I think also, imagining the Boodle Fight during those times when the military and the cadets were doing it,
Mm-hmm.
they would probably do it in the mess hall, di ba?
Yeah.
Or in I guess they also had areas outdoors. Pero imagine where you did it can make a lot of difference, like the
Mm-hmm.
ambiance, being outdoors, especially
Yeah.
nowadays. So before I go to the questions, actually ang daming comments, Chef, ang daming cute and nice and sweet comments to you na gusto ko basahin mamaya or you might want to address. But before we move on to the conversation, can we address, because right now, sinabi mo nga, it takes a lot of people to make it the boodle and even the fight that you can imagine na salo-salo kayo,
Yeah.
using your bare hands, um, having no utensils at all. But can it be adjusted during this period in our pandemic situation? What are the tips that you can sort of put out there that so that we can follow the protocols pa din?
Yeah. Unfortunately, nga, because of the pandemic, we there are a lot of restaurants who does this boodle spread. Now,
Mhm.
unfortunately, because of the pandemic, that having that table full of food and each one sharing that experience, I guess it was set aside for the meantime. But most of the boodle restaurants that I see now, they would actually put everything in a bilao, and the rice are individual. So it's more of like a plated thing already, but the
Mhm.
essence of everyone on the table is still there.
Okay.
So now there's extra precautions lang, protocols like hand washing, diba, is a must. Sanitizing your hands before you eat. Some of them even
Exactly.
without gloves, for you to use.
Mm.
And then yung mga sauces, no double dipping. For example, you have your own. So the culture is lost in that sense because we're not
Mm.
eating and having that fight that we would envision it. But the culture remains in the sense that you're still together. I think that's very
Right.
important. Uh,
Well,
so
we're hoping that day will still come where we can do the boodle as it is. That's culturally correct. But you're right. It has to evolve for now in a certain way for us to experience that kind of a presentation. No, but chef, I just want to ask you. So from during the olden days and from it evolving into a presentation and going into the restaurants, paano ba talaga napunta? Paano nag-shift yung from it being a military celebration na ngayon inadapt na ng mga restaurants? Is there any particular chef or restaurant that pioneered it here?
yeah, I guess from what I remember when I was still young, the Kamayan restaurant, would actually have that one. Maybe not in the essence of that boodle thing. Kasi if you really see a boodle fight, everything's on top of each, the rice. Like you have everything in there. So of course now it's
Parang
much
naging
more
toppings.
topping na siya, and then you would just actually eat. No? So it's a mixture. But now, what they did, like a lot of Filipino restaurants actually have this type of style of eating. Kasi nga, if you have a family of 6, for example, instead of ordering a la carte, medyo mas mahal pa yon. They would bundle everything in a package, no? So you could just have, two viands, one vegetable, for example. You have your
Uh-huh.
choice. No? So it's easier for the restaurants to operate on that. Second, you could have a better, as a restaurant owner operator, it's easier
Mm-hmm.
for you to cost things, diba?
Yes.
Parang package na yan eh, you have one feast, no? Also, seasonality is also a problem in our country. We have only two seasons, wet and dry, and most of the time, if we want to have, for example, tomatoes the whole year round, pero
Mm-hmm.
during the rainy season, expensive. So your cost right away in an operation might go up because iba na yung cost na, no? And right away the selling price is totally different from um, what is supposed to be, diba? So
Okay.
having a package like that, you could actually create different variations and do a proper cost na,
Mm-hmm.
sell it off to your customer. Hindi ka nag-short change kasi nandun naman lahat yan. It's still a boodle feast. Nandun pa rin yung gusto mo, di
Oo.
ba? So,
Ah,
yeah.
yun nga, chef, speaking of the costs na that you're mentioning, because there might be savings entailed for a big group. There's a good question that just came in from Tons Ballesteros. So
Yeah.
he's asking, how will you calculate the food cost if you plan to make it as a business? Kasi as you showed it, it's of course like family style. It's for one family only. But if you
Yeah.
go into it as a business, is there a way where you can be cost
Yeah.
effective about it?
Yeah, I think the idea really is also like the buffet restaurants. But the buffet restaurant, you just pay a certain amount, and you have so much dishes, diba? Bottom line, you're just paying one amount. With the boodle kasi, again, a smart way to actually do it. First of all, you have to cost each and every dish. Normally we would work on a 35% food cost, 35%. Meaning, if the dish is 100, you're selling it for 100 pesos, the cost to produce that one is only 35 pesos dapat. So that's how you compute the
Uh,
food cost. So you compute each of the dishes that you have on the table. Some restaurants, I saw what they did was the expensive items, like for
mm-hmm.
example, squid or beef, for example,
Or the
they would actually
crabs, the other
crabs. They would
seafood.
yeah, you have a basic package, that would have, for example, the rice, the vegetables, maybe two grilled items, and then if you want to order extra, you have kind of like an a la carte menu that you could just add in on the basic package. So I think that's a smart way to do it also, so that it doesn't seem too steep, diba, the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really up to you what you want to put on the boodle table. So yun. So again, cost
The
everything
model,
out.
oo, the model they can sort of adapt is yung ano nga, yung sa buffet style
Yeah.
that some restaurants have already perfected, ano.
Oo.
So,
Kasi ako like, yeah, sorry.
oo. So the portions also can be managed, or yun nga
Yeah.
kasi nga buffet, parang all you can eat, costed na
Mhm.
yun, inputted na in the amounts. Tapos you can have a higher price if yun nga the viand is a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
So, if speaking of the viands that are there, in the presentation and the layout that you did, parang ang daming seafood, no? Tapos
Yeah.
a lot of it are grilled, and then some are modified fried, ganyan. But
Yeah.
but usually, what do you suggest as minimal menu but kompleto na?
Mhm. Okay. The staple normally for a kamayan feast, diba? The Filipinos would actually have inihaw na baboy, or
Okay.
grilled belly, or
Mm-mm.
pork belly. We would have siguro one of each protein. You'd have
Mm-hmm.
one seafood, could be in the form of prawns, for example. That's just halabos, so what I showed earlier on, or even grilled, and a pusit, for example, or a pusit, for example. And then another one would be a chicken dish, for example.
Okay.
Could be a fried
Mm-hmm.
chicken, or a lechon manok, a roast chicken. No.
Oo.
Now, normally, me personally, if I were to have a good spread, siguro mga three proteins, one vegetable dish, could be in the form of a salad, like what I
Mm-hmm.
showed.
Yeah, the
You know,
pako.
Pako, we're so blessed. You know that pako is so expensive in the other countries, but in the Philippines it's close. No? So fiddlehead fern is good, green mangoes, and then you'd have a selection of condiments. You know, could be bagoong or fermented fish paste or shrimp paste, a
Yeah.
sausawan made of soy and vinegar. That's it. No, you don't really have to have too much. End of the day, it's the rice that makes it, no? It makes it extra special. Diba? Parang kahit, small amount of protein, pero you have a lot of rice, in the end, you'll be so stuffed. Kasi nga, you have so much
Oo,
rice.
parang
Yeah.
kain ayoko naman maging
Yung mga extravagant spreads naman, they would even put lechon. Lechon de leche. Diba? Instead of putting steamed rice, they would make paella, kunwari, or now, for Christmas, this could actually be something, have a nice Pinoy spread. You could use pa nga lechon baka. The good thing with this, you don't have to cook it yourself. There's so many restaurants in our country that serves, a really good lechon baka. A restaurant would serve really good serves really good seafood. So you can buy from different places and then
I
just
guess less stress for you, no?
exactly, di ba? So again, for
The
Christmas,
banana leaves lang ang kailangan i-prepare.
an idea for Christmas, if you're with your family naman, I'm sure everyone is vaccinated, tested, di ba? And then you could still enjoy this spread, di ba? And then it's so easy to clean up afterwards. That's the beauty of this. You just have to roll the banana leaf and that's it, di ba? No washing na.
Yun nga eh. Speaking of that, chef, no? So pagkatapos, you just pack everything in, the bones, the tira, and then the banana leaf, and then dispose of it. Biodegradable pa lahat. Now, I just want to go back quickly to the aspect of because we're in a pandemic situation. Kasi given the type that it's kamayan, it's halo-halo, it's no utensils at all. And it's very Filipino. Can we brand this and as an experience that will be acceptable in the region or globally? Do you think we're ready to put it out there and say, hey, this is something we'd like to offer as a presentation that is uniquely Filipino?
Yeah. Me, definitely yes. It's a yes. What better way to para introduce our cuisine? The best way talaga to introduce our cuisine is you introduce or you teach them about our culture. Diba? For me, that's the first step before telling someone to eat our dish. Let them understand who we are. For example, when introducing a Filipino dish, for example, to a foreign guest, there will be a lot of questions. In fact, hesitations pa nga if you give them a piece of something that you wanted to try. It's kind of like forcing them to try the food. But a good example would be, I guess, spaghetti. Pinoy spaghetti na lang. Pinoy spaghetti is very manamis. That's our childhood comfort food. And in Italy, it's a no-no to make a sweet sauce for pasta. More so adding hot dogs, no, and to the dish. But if we explain to our foreign friends or foreign brothers and sisters that our culture is really more, our taste buds are really inclined towards sweet, sour, and salty flavors, and this is how we would normally eat it. Childhood memories of ours, were served like this for any time of the day, diba? So, and eventually to get accepted easily, not usually accepted, diba? But and I guess that's what's supposed to happen with any type of culture that we want to or cuisine that we want everyone to taste, understand the culture, then the food, diba? So here, then it becomes a global thing. In fact, it's very popular now in North America. We have a lot of Filipinos,
it's emerging already as a fare sa mga Pinoy restaurants.
Yeah, kasi nga, di ba, Filipino restaurant in the last since 2015 it started to really rise up the ranks. And and it's something that we could brag about, especially now, that this type of culture that we have eating together, it evokes camaraderie and friendship and love, di ba, with the family and whoever. So if they try this one, it's a nice atmosphere,
Yeah,
colorful, di ba, happy atmosphere, and that's who we are. That's what Filipinos are. We're always happy.
exactly. Very hospitable. And if we sort of focus on the social aspect to it, of course, again with distancing and the protocols, it's gonna be, I think, very acceptable. Pero chef, may question kasi dito. I guess it's also a function of the boodle being served a lot in our resorts. We're a lot of the island resorts and by the sea. Syempre, most of the fare that are there are seafood, and then
Yeah.
the banana leaves are easy to source. But bakit nga daw ba banana leaf yung naisip na na gamitin?
Yeah, pre-colonial, no, before anything else, again,
So it has
going back
historic pala.
to historical
Oo.
design, we didn't have any, our ancestors didn't have any plates to eat on, and banana leaf is I guess, the easiest plate that you could find out there. Before
Mm.
the time of the Spaniards, Spaniards, nagano tayo, di ba, na-colonize tayo ng Spaniards in, I think, 1520, 15, when was that?
Naku.
1521, we were colonized by
Oo.
the Spaniards
Si
until
Madrid.
1808, di ba? That's
Okay.
during the time of Spaniards, the traditional way of eating with their bare hands and banana leaves was accepted and tolerated, no? It was only talaga during the time of the Americans where proper etiquette na was put into
Oo.
place, like using utensils and also plates. So it was
Mm-mm.
much importance. So in the end, it's really a lot of people would say nga kasi nga, di ba, food before it reaches your mouth, when you use your fork and knife, parang
Mhm.
wala na yung flavor. But if you eat with your fingers, di ba, push the food straight to your mouth, the food tastes really better. More
Western
so,
na talaga yung using the utensils, 'di ba, chef? Parang
Western na,
really
eh,
are
no?
uniquely Filipino are bare
Yeah.
hands.
And what I like about, I think, the banana leaves kasi, one, it's easier to, like we said earlier, di ba, to throw after you've eaten
After.
your meal. You just throw it straight for the bin, and it's biodegradable. And at the
Mm.
same time, it looks very tropical also. Di ba? Ang ganda tignan, having a nice,
Yes.
di ba, piece of beef.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the, so going back to the our trail of thought in bringing not only the boodle to the international food scene. Um have you seen some anything familiar or similar to the boodle in the region or even in Europe or in the US na calls it also their type of presentation? But I would think here in the region or Southeast Asia, meron kaya?
Yeah. Di ba, that Koreans, for example, they have this yung mukbang, di ba, yung eat all you
Yeah.
can, di ba? Maraming ganyan. In
So
in
parang
in,
presentation, oo.
yeah, so that's an evolution of what we have now, I guess, no. In the northern countries, for example, the Americas, di ba, they have the boils, the seafood boils. They would actually boil
Mhm.
crabs, crayfish, and then corn, and then just put everything on a piece on a table, and then they would all eat,
And
no.
then eat it
So
there. Oo.
exactly, di ba? I guess in difference lang talaga natin, we eat everything with rice, di ba? And again, bare hands talaga. Asians, I guess, generally, we're all communal tayo. We like to eat together. But I guess the difference here, try to eat with the hands, and you find out talaga food is better. So marami across the globe, there are a lot of similarities, yes, but
What
it's,
about
I guess,
Indonesian padang? Is it you think it's parang pero kasi yon parang more the variation kasi naka-serve na siya in in small plates, 'di ba? So
yeah,
it's not
oo.
really like free for all and then maski ano kunin mo parang
Yeah, so yeah, kasi ito ano ito eh, 'di ba? Boodle is all, magad no utensils, 'di ba? Everything
Oo.
is on the table. You just grab whatever, no?
Oo.
So, for some people it might seem na parang ano eh, parang it's like what we're eating together like that, 'di ba? But in
Mm.
reality, that actually forms the bond, eh,
Mm.
between the family members or your colleagues eating with you. That
Yeah.
forms the bond. Diba? Walang
Yeah.
ano, diba?
I guess to answer a question here from Miss Vivian Mendoza Barreda, she said, "Is there a way to enjoy Boodle Fight to the fullest?" I guess it's that what you're saying. It's the camaraderie. It's the people that you have it
Yeah.
with, it's the socialization, and again we go back to the military and the barracks, the cadets, and their leaders, yung ano naman nila doon is being together and celebrating something because you've been out there in the field, you're studying, you're all very tired, but
Mm,
the feast, the boodle itself,
yeah.
ako, I would always want to say the fight kasi yung image, 'di ba, it's the fun part to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
really makes it unique and enjoyable.
Yeah. I guess word of advice lang when you have a boodle feast, eat standing up. That's what I learned. Not sitting down, although everyone sits down, di ba, when they're eating. But standing up kasi, you don't get full right away. And normally,
Okay.
in big boodle feasts, like the military would actually they would stand up. They don't sit down.
Oo. Oo.
Everyone's standing up. And um, it actually is fun standing up kasi also the food doesn't really bloat you right away, di ba? So,
Exactly. And you
here
can
for
imagine reaching out for the others kasi ang the spread is really far and wide. I mean, especially for petite people like
uh,
myself. They syempre
yeah,
being upright is the easiest way to be able to get a taste of everything on the table.
yeah, exactly. There's a good question here, Joyo.
Yes,
If
yes.
you were to make a Southeast Asian version of a boodle feast, what dishes would you put? No,
Yeah.
coming from Chef Brando, he's a good friend of mine. He's my like my brother, from
Hi,
UFS.
Chef Brando.
Um, Nice question, Brands. I think, again, the boodle can be adapted to anything. Eh. If you're
Yeah.
going Southeast Asian, I love Malaysian cuisine, for example.
Okay.
Having different types of curry,
Mm.
and satays, for example, on the spread. Maybe some fried chicken, with
Mm.
the ayam goreng, for example. These are small ideas, but so much. Again, it can be anything. It can be any
Yes.
cuisine. It's just that, of course, in the Philippines, we're using Filipino food always, no, on the spread. But it can be anything. You could
Mm-mm.
even go American style, having ribs, barbecues, diba, whatever.
Yeah.
So, Joy, what do you think? Ano mang type mo?
Well, yun nga, chef, ako rin, that's what I'm trying to think, no? Yung kunyari, the Filipino fare na caldereta and those that are our version of chicken curry. Syempre, in the region, the Malaysians and Singaporeans and of course the
Yeah.
Indonesians would have yung something similar, the sauce and the quality of the food itself. It can really be actually anything, which I would like to go to another question that's similar to it. What's another great Philippine experience, Daw? I mean, aside from this boodle, uh, what's very uniquely Filipino that we can share with others, or maybe a specific dish
Ah,
for
well,
you? Kasi ito talaga, it stops. Parang the
yeah,
presentation itself, the variety,
yeah.
and actually the culture and heritage of it's already like one for the books, right? But
Mm,
if we, give them something, yung I guess our adobo, or I mean, the usual favorites of, or
yeah.
sisig.
Yeah, actually, in the Philippines, kasi we're made up of 7,107 islands, di ba? Yeah, archipelago full of full of produce. Anywhere you go, any region you go, province you go, they have their own special take on their own dishes. And in the end, 7,000, 600 na daw, sabi ng anak ko.
Very
So,
good, Bea and Bea.
uh, I love, me personally, I love going around and really immersing with the culture that they have in those provinces. No, totally different. If you go, for example, to Iloilo, to Bacolod, how they have this chicken inasal, for example, you smell of smoke after eating. Kasi nga, they're grilling in front of you, and that's a totally different experience. You go up north, for example, to Ilocos, and you would
Okay.
have different types of pork dishes. They love pork, no? Like dinakdakan, cordilleras, for example, they would have etag. It's like a cured pork,
Ah,
and
okay.
so much to
Iba pa sa
go.
mga pinikpikan dishes nila.
Pikpikan, there's so many dishes and different cultures that you could experience. Eh. Kaya nga, what's my favorite? I don't know. Eh. My favorite is really going around and immersing myself. I
Yes.
think that's what would actually, I'd like to invite everyone in the world to come visit the Philippines. If we're able already, you know, do an itinerary, plan the different provinces, and try the different cultures that they have there. Diba?
Exactly. And we're seeing a lot, chef, of the young chefs out there setting up their restaurants or kiosks
Mm-mm.
outside. In Europe now there has been an influx of new restaurants, and also of course in North America and even in the region.
Yeah,
And slowly we're getting to be more recognized in terms of our food, and that's a
yeah,
beautiful thing. 'Di ba?
exactly.
So,
I love to
chef,
talk
with
about
that,
Filipino. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I look forward to another of our conversations, but I
Oh,
think right now we're running out of time. But um, it's another truly learning experience with you. Masaya talaga kausap si Chef Ken, lalo na pag passionate kayo sa food. But before we close, Chef, do you have any last words,
well,
specifically on noodle or on Filipino food in general?
yeah. First of all, can I just say thank you, for to my all my colleagues who's watching tonight, Brando, Chef Jackie Angpo, Vic Del Rosario, Chef James Antolin, everyone watching, thank you. Um, I guess, for me, I'd like to end in this manner that I want each and every Filipino really to appreciate what we have. Our culture is so vast and exciting. Let's support Filipino cuisine. Let's support our culture. Grow that culture, and share it to the world. In the end, it's really about sharing that we actually show who we really are, diba? As
Yes.
Filipinos. And that's the bottom line I'd like to share with everyone. Good food, good friends, good company, happy meal. I think that's who we really are. So enjoy life. Life is great.
Yes. And
Oh,
with that,
yeah. Sorry.
yes. Go ahead,
Always
Chef.
pala. For me,
Yeah.
make sure that they have to have the pambansang seasoning, the Nor liquid seasoning, together with
And
them on the table. That makes everything
I think,
Filipino. That's for
of
me.
course, and the powder that you used earlier, the Nor chicken powder. All
Pambansang
right.
seasoning.
Thank you so much, Chef. I enjoyed our chat as always. And for those that would like to watch out for Chef Ken, he has a lot of material on YouTube. He has master classes coming up. Um, and I don't know how do you want to be contacted, Chef, but
Yeah,
with the upcoming talks that
yeah.
you will have.
Siguro, Joy, I'd like to invite each and everyone watching our talk now that we in Unilever Food Solutions Philippines, we have a website. Okay,
Okay.
Unilever, search us up. We have tons of recipes, ideas, promoting Filipino cuisine and Western cuisine also. So you could visit our website, follow us on Instagram, Unilever Food
Mhm.
Solutions Philippines, PH. No?
Okay.
So please visit us. No?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chef Ken. do join us again. We're hoping that in 2022 we'll have more of Chef Ken and the Unilever Solutions team. So again, thank you. Chef Ken is the executive country chef of Unilever Philippines. Maraming salamat. Join us
Thanks a lot.
again. Yes, join us again on December 1 as our food crawl makes its way to Vietnam with Chef Minta. And we'll be featuring the Vietnamese banh mi and coffee.
Wow.
I'd also like to thank, yes, Chef, manood ka ha.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
to my team, Kit, Pam, Pat, and Amy. And please do like the Asia Society Facebook pages and Twitter and Instagram and stay up to date with our upcoming talks and events. And I would like to say again, watch out for our 2022 event, hopefully with Chef Ken. Hopefully. And so with that, have a great weekend, everyone. Keep staying safe and well. Maraming salamat po. Chef Ken, thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay safe, guys.